ladies, gents. Ladies, gents, thank you. Thank you. So, ladies and gents, we are doing this question, which was on the 2018 VCAR exam. So the question is, Jeff's fascination with looking at others stops him from truly looking at himself. Do you agree? Okay, so I guess the first thing we need to do is pick out our important words. What are our important words? What are our important words? What are our key words on this? Yeah.
Fascination.
Agree. Fascination. Looking at others. And then I think the truly looking at himself is interesting, particularly that word truly. Because it doesn't say, I'll just wait. That's one of those, like in like video games and movies, they call them Easter eggs. Oh, yeah. So in essay questions, there are Easter eggs. There are little kind of gems in there that go, hey, here's a little something. Maybe you can explore that. Shh, thank you. So the question is, Jeff's fascination with looking at others stops him at truly looking at himself. Why is the word truly important in that sentence? Truly looking at himself. What does it imply? I shouldn't pull dumb faces on this, should I? I'll regret it later. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I end up with really horrible memes like that. Damon Rudge made that. Yeah. Because he used to ask me like the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and I'd be just like, I want to kill you. So the word truly in this is important because it's kind of saying like, does he really deep down look at himself? Does he really look at himself? And I think the answer is, even at the end of the film, no, he doesn't really. Because does he change his behaviour?
But the other thing he looks at himself is like when he's comparing like either movies or using that one.
Yeah, but that his opinion doesn't change. The only real kind of thing that changes is the way that he looks at Lisa. But he doesn't really change the way he looks at himself, does he? He's kind of quite rigid in that regard. So that leads us to a bit of a discussion. So Jeff's fascination with looking at others stops him from truly looking at himself. Do you agree? So we're saying Jeff never truly looks at himself. The only opinion he changes is the opinion on Lisa. Right? All right. So the question's implying that he doesn't look at himself. He doesn't look at himself because he's too busy looking at everyone else. Do you think that's true? Is that the reason why he doesn't change his own opinion of himself? He does have a fascination with everybody, doesn't he? Yeah? So, he is fascinated with everyone else, and it does cause him to be distracted from his own problems. All right. is it the reason he's like being distracted by his neighbours, right? Is that the reason that he never really looks at himself? Like looks at himself and changes his mind about like the way he lives his life? Is that why he doesn't change the way he lives his life? Because he was too busy about other people's problems? Good, because he thinks there's nothing wrong with himself, doesn't he? He thinks that he's nailing it. Do you think? He's arrogant, I think. But he truly never looks at himself because of his own arrogance. Yeah? Like, he does have moments where he thinks about, oh, yeah, okay, I just offended Lisa, or, oh, yeah, you know, maybe I shouldn't watch people with a long focus lens. But does it stop him? No. Why? Because he thinks he knows best. That's Jeff, isn't it? He thinks he knows best. And I mean, that works in his favour at some points, like with the Thorwalds. He thinks he knows best, so even when a detective tells him there's no murder, he's like, yeah, but I know best. But, yeah, he's stubborn, and yeah, he's arrogant. He thinks he knows better. He thinks he knows better. Cool. I think this is a really interesting essay. Do you? I feel like it's exploring things that we haven't really talked about before. That's exciting. I like that. I like it when we write something that I'm like, oh, we haven't talked about this before. Let's talk about this. Okay, so notice that I have 3 points. 3 points, 3 paragraphs. Done. So basically my contention is going to be my arguments. That's okay. So, we happy with that? Is there anything else we want to add or change? Cool. All right, let's do it then. Are we happy with that order of ideas? Yeah? Okay. Wow. Aren't we happy little larks? All right. So, hang on, I'm just going to stretch this down because then it will just like automatically, hopefully, just like tailor itself well. We'll see. Okay, so Jeff never truly looks at himself. The only opinion he changes is the opinion on Lisa. So I've got to prove that he never truly looks at himself. So how do I prove that? How do I prove that he never truly looks at himself?
When he's treating Lisa in bad way, he doesn't recognize what he's doing to her.
Okay, so when's that?
The dinner.
Okay, so in the dinner scene, Jeff, how does Jeff treat Lisa badly? What is it that is him treating her badly?
He thinks he's saying, but,
See?
didn't pay attention to it.
Good, okay. Doesn't pay attention to Lisa, and is too consumed with his voyeurism.
Because, like, when I think Lisa's talking about, like, she had lunch and, like, he was like, oh.
When she is talking about his day. And then when she says to him that, you know, like she's had enough of him, basically, you know, like that she sees no future with them together, and he's like, he doesn't change, like that doesn't it doesn't like catalyze any sort of change, does it? Like the next day, is he not the same with her when she comes over and he's saying horrible things to her again? You know, about the girl Friday, you never marry the girl Friday, and he says like the lady, she says about the music, how they're writing it. He's writing it for us, and he says, "Oh, that's probably why he's having so much trouble with it." Like he's doing the same smart ass kind of rude comments again. And at the end of the night, Lisa informs him that she sees no future. She actually says no future. What, with no future? Future with Jeff. With Jeff. Implying that, there's supposed to be a comma there, implying that she sees this relationship ending. His response to that is disappointment, isn't it? Like, like she shuts the door and he's like, oh. Like he's sad about it, isn't he? He doesn't want them to break up. In the moment after, his facial expression, so I'm doing some, what do you call it? Cinematic techniques. Show that he is, I don't want to say sad about it. What's a better word than sad? Disappointed? Disappointed with this eventuality. However, in their next scene together, he is just as cruel. What could we use for him being just as cruel in the second night that they hang out? What does he do that's just as cruel? Is that the kissing one? Is that the next scene? I'm trying to remember. No, that's not the next day. I feel like we need, like, hang on, why don't I pull up the film? No. We're not going to watch it all over again. Surprisingly, we have better things to do. I know, right? VLC? I hope I have VLC. Continue.
Quiet it seems.
Okay, so that's that night.
Right there. I know the insurance. Huh?
Oh, it is.
I was right.
Yeah. You go, girl. All right. Sorry, hang on.
Why does a girl have to go before you notice?
Well, if she's pretty enough, she doesn't have to go anywhere.
If she's pretty enough, she doesn't have to go anywhere, implying that she's not pretty enough. Ooh, sweet burn. Yeah, I know. Like, also, has he looked in a mirror lately? Mate, come on, guys. All right, so he is just as cruel, implying during the kissing scene that Lisa is not pretty enough. She's not pretty enough. All right.
Okay.
To hold his attention. All right. So, I think that's great evidence in terms of showing that, like, he doesn't change. Don't you? Like, I think that shows that he doesn't change. That even though he has a moment where he could change, he still chooses not to. That he has a moment where he realizes that maybe he should change, and yet he doesn't. So, this shows a moment where Jeff realizes that he needs to change. However, he decides he quickly slips back into his old habits that are driving Lisa away. Yeah, I am. Ugh. Again, not a typist. Okay. Driving. There we go. Alright. So. Alright. Yeah, just planning. It's a good plan. Alright.
An hour to plan.
Yeah, I know, we're trying to do something good though, so that you can walk away and write this. Okay? So, I know, you might actually have to do some work, God forbid. Alright, so, I would then, in this paragraph, you know, if we're planning like our dream paragraph, like what we could actually write if we had the time, I would then kind of show that, you know, his opinion of Lisa changes, but his behaviour doesn't change. How could I show that his opinion changes of Lisa, but his thoughts about himself doesn't change? Where do we see that his opinion of Lisa changes?
When she goes to the Arizona and slips the thing in his door.
Oh, the letter, yeah. Jeff shows that he does have the capability to change because his opinion of Lisa changes when she slips the letter to Thorwald under the door. How do we know, Brooke, that his opinion of Lisa changes?
He starts to, is it that thing? Did you see her to sell it?
Is it, did you see her? Did you see her? We'll check. Let's go to the tape. Yeah, you could use those as well. Yeah. But this is a really good one because we do actually get... Yeah, where he's like actually passionate. Yeah, you could use those too.
Like he defends Lisa when Chloe was like speaking to her.
Yeah, you could use that too, yeah. Lisa. Oh wait, I've gone too far. Yes. Oh wait, too far. Message to a murderer. That's the one. Here we go. Ready? Shh, girls. Settle. Okay, so we see her. She slips the letter. Runs off. Nearly gets caught. Munching on the cigar.
Did it Thorwald. did it. Look out, Lizzie, he's coming.
You never should have let it do it if he had...
So this is a really good scene to talk about, like, suspense build.
Thank heaven that's over. All right if I have a drink?
Sure, go ahead. There's no doubt about he's leaving. It's just a question of when.
Mind if I use that portable keyhole?
Here she comes. Oh no,
Go ahead,
sorry,
as
that
long
was
as you tell me what
Stella.
you're looking at.
I wonder.
What?
Miss Lonely Hearts just laid out something that looks like rhodium triagonal capsules.
Well, you can tell from here.
I've had enough of those red pills to put everybody in Hackensack to sleep for the winter.
Well, does she have enough of them to...
I'll make the rest easier.
Wasn't that close? What was his reaction? I mean, when he looked at the note.
Well, it wasn't the kind of an expression that would get him a quick loan at the bank.
Okay. So he doesn't say, did you see? Oh, no, he says that to Doyle at the end. All right. Well, how about we use, did we see his facial expression there where he's like,
He says it when she gets full.
Yeah, he does. He says, you should have seen her. But let's use the puppy dog eyes thing because then we can use some, like, cinematic techniques. After... Alright. So,
Is this still part of the first paragraph?
yes. Yeah, it's a big one. Alright, so the next paragraph we're going to do, I'm actually going to move these two so that we have room, because otherwise it's going to get too small. The writing will get too small. If that's okay, I'm just going to put it on a new thing. Okay. I will, hang on. I'm just rearranging. Don't panic. I'll let you know when to panic. Okay. Here we go. Here it is. It's alright. What are you doing, Tristan? Alright, can I move on? Ooh.
Easy, yeah.
Keep going.
I've lost it now.
No chats. No chats. This is riveting footage of me just staring into space, waiting for you to copy stuff down. Yeah. Yeah, probably. We're back. Alright. Okay. I need to, like, get me out of the way. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So, that's been our first paragraph. Now we're going to do a second paragraph, which talks about, ladies, this is going to be my second paragraph, yep. My second paragraph is going to be about he is fascinated with everyone else, like outside in the window, and it does cause him to be distracted by his own problems. So it does kind of, you know, it is a distraction from his problems. So how do I prove that? How do I prove that, like, he is fascinated with everyone else and it distracts him from his own problems?
When he's like, when Lisa's giving him affection, and he's like worrying about what the
Okay. When in the kissing scene, Lisa is trying to connect with Jeff. You could talk about how she uses her hand to kind of keep pulling his head back to her. Do you remember how she does that? She keeps putting her hand on his face and, like, directing it back. And she also says, pay attention to me. Ain't I pretty? Pay attention to me. However, he is more concerned about discussing... Oh, I want that quote. You know how he says, like, something about knives? Who keeps, like, keeping knives and stuff? I know, I'll go back to it, I promise. You'll be able to copy it. It's okay.
Have you ever played with knives, miss?
Have I ever played with knives? I don't know what that means. Like, I have knives in my house to, like, cook food and...
Did you play with, like,
No, not really. I'm not massive into knives.
Why hasn't he been in his wife's bedroom all day?
Okay, hang on.
Think about it. Butcher knife and a small saw wrapped in newspaper, huh? And come back 3.
Pardon? Yeah. Why? Oh, no, I pushed it out of the way because I didn't want to keep looking at myself. It's weird.
Well, if she's pretty enough, she doesn't have to go anywhere. She just has to be.
And I pay attention to me.
Stupid Jeff. I feel like the more I watch this, the more I hate Jeff.
Not exactly on the other side of the room.
Oh, it's gross, isn't it?
Don't you ever have any problems? So do I.
Here we go.
Why would a man leave his apartment 3 times on a rainy night with a suitcase and come back 3 times?
Okay. Oh, wrong one. Okay. A man who leaves his apartment 3 times. Okay. Now, I just want to talk to you a little bit about what I've just done. So, where I've got the quote, a man who leaves his apartment 3 times, I've done a little editing so that it fits in with my language, haven't I? So, I've got the ellipsis, which is the 3 dots, and I've got the, he doesn't say who, because the quote is, why would a man leave his apartment 3 times? but I need to change it a little so it flows with my language. So I've said he's more concerned about discussing a man who leaves his apartment 3 times. Okay? And then I might include the thing about knives and whatever. You know how he says about, like, why would a man have knives and saws and whatever in his apartment? Yeah? So, to make changes to a quote, it's not allowed to change the actual meaning of the quote. Okay? You can't change the meaning, but you can change, like, the tense. So if it's present tense and you need to write it in past tense, or if it's like it just grammatically doesn't work with your sentence, you can make alterations. So you can use ellipses, so the 3 dots, which means something else was here, but I cut it out because it wasn't important. And then you can use square brackets to either add things in. So I've added the word who, and I've added, instead of leave, I've put the S on the end and gone leaves. Or I might want to take something out and put something else in. So for instance, this is just an example. If I wanted to have the bit where Lisa said, when I want a man, I want all of him. Okay, so if that's my quote, but I want it to say, when Lisa wants a man, she wants all of him, I would just go to where it says I, take out I, put Lisa, and then obviously the sentence now can't be, when Lisa want a man, she want all of him, like it sounds bad, so I have to obviously put square bracket, S, square bracket. When Lisa wants a man, square bracket, she want all of him, she wants all of him. Does that make sense? Okay, so I can make alterations like that to make the quote embed properly. Happy? I know a few of you have been asking questions about that, so hopefully that clears it up a little bit about how to actually put in quotes and make them sound good. One thing I have noticed that some people, when they embed quotes and change them, they kind of leave the word that they were going to use out. You know, like they leave it in there. No, get rid of it. So the sentence flows. Happy? Do you want me to take that off? You don't need that, yeah? Okay, cool. Okay, so he is fascinated with everyone else, and it does cause him to be distracted by his own problem. In the kissing scene, Lisa is trying to connect with Jeff by putting her hand on his face, whoa, don't need to yell, on his face and redirecting it towards her. Pay attention to me. However, he is more concerned about discussing a man who leaves his apartment 3 times. I think that proves my point. You happy with that? Do we want another piece of evidence? I think it would be good too, because 2 is better than 1. Where's another time that I can prove that Jeff is fascinated with everyone else and it causes him to be distracted from his own problems?
I don't know, but when Doyle, he says,
Mm-hmm. What about the Newlyweds? So he's watching the Newlyweds, or you know, like he's watching the Newlyweds and Stella's like, window shopper. Do you remember that? It's when he first sees the Newlyweds and they, you know, like they do the carry over the threshold thing and they're pashing and then they close the blind and then Stella's been watching at the same time and she's like, window shopper, because, you know, he's watching something that, you know, he wants but he's not willing to commit to. Yeah? Or you could use the bit where, what was the other one that I came up with? With Lonely Heart. So he's watching Lonely Heart have that solo meal. and all the while, like, he's, like, laughing at her, kind of, and is like, you know, what a weirdo. But then he's having this meal with Lisa, but he's just kind of, like, ignoring her the whole time. Do you know what I mean? Do you know the bit I'm talking about? Yes? Oh, are you doing that? Okay. Alright, so there's the dinner. Okay. So, she's preparing the dinner.
Oh, Lonely Heart's preparing the dinner.
Yeah, Lonely Heart's preparing dinner. Lisa's preparing his dinner. Right? Yeah, Lisa's preparing his dinner, and Lonely Heart is preparing Jeff's dinner. Here we go. So he's watching this. That's why we're watching it. And she's all sad, blah blah.
Miss Lonely Heart. Well, at least.
And so what he should draw from that is how sad it is to be alone and to have to eat dinner alone every night, right?
That's something you'll never have to worry about.
Oh. You can see my apartment from here, or...
Right. So what's the lesson he actually gets from it? That, oh, you're lucky, you'll never have to be alone. And it's like, what about you, you loser? Instead of talking to, you know, being nice to Lisa, who's serving you up this dinner, you're too busy looking at everyone else, not looking at your own situation and the fact that you're being a jerk to Lisa. And the way that we know that Hitchcock wants us to know that is because look at the way his meal is set up compared to her meal. See, the candles are the same? It's the same. Dinner for two with candles. See? It's supposed to be the same. We're supposed to see that parallel. Does that make sense? All right. So, let's do that one, because that one's a good one, because you got, like, cinematics in there, and, yeah. In the dinner scene, Jeff is preoccupied with Lonely Hearts. What would you call it? Lonely Hearts, like, it's like a mock date. It's like a pretend date, isn't it? Yeah. Imaginary dinner date. Showing amusement at her. It was. Girls, can we pull it back together?
Oh my god, don't hurt me. The best. Sienna, shut up.
Right. This is reinforced by the girls. Alright, so I said, in the dinner scene, Jeff is preoccupied with Lonely Heart's imaginary dinner date, showing amusement at her loneliness, instead of realising that Lonely Heart's situation... Sorry, I was trying to fix the spelling on it. There we go. Lonely Heart's situation could actually be his future if Lisa leaves him. This is reinforced by the mirroring of the table setting with the candles. Yeah? Okay. And then I would say this shows that how he's fascinated with everyone else and it detracts his attention from what is actually going on in his own life. Make sense? Yeah. Or we could obviously use the Stella quote about look in for a change. Yeah. People should get outside their own house and look in for a change. She says that. Cut. Oops, sorry. There we go. Oops, sorry. There we go. So, that is argument 2. We happy with that? Too bad if we're not. That's what we've got. Are we going to write that down? Right. Do I need to pause this while Slowpoke's right? Right. All right. Okay. So, the last paragraph is, but he never truly looks at himself because of his own arrogance and stubbornness. So, how do I demonstrate that? How do I demonstrate that?
What he wears.
What he wears?
Because he wants Stella to change, not he to.
Stella?
Not Stella. he wants Lisa to change.
Okay.
Instead of Lisa.
Is that why he doesn't change? Because Lisa changed for him?
Yes.
We're gonna like.
But he influenced change.
He doesn't want to abide by her.
Oh, I've got another cinematic I can use too. I can use the cinematic of Lisa changes her outfit. Like, she looks completely different at the end. And Jeff is still in the same old stinky pajamas. He's in the same pajamas that he's been wearing this whole
How
time.
does he have a shower?
I don't know.
Yeah, and he was sweating.
Hygiene.
Further break before we do the third paragraph.
Yes, please.
Wait, Miss. Can I bring something up?
Hang on. I can only hold on to one idea at a time. Demonstrated through Lisa's complete change in outfit at the end of the film. However, Jeff is in the same old smelly pajamas. Alright. Yes. No.
Can we test it? It's fun.
How do you test it?
If someone's like,
I think about, like, okay, so that's what you're talking about, yeah.
So you don't actually. Can you like imagine it and then draw it on a board?
I could draw it, yeah.
But can you see it in your head like the picture? That's impossible to draw.
Anyway. Me too. I spelled pajamas wrong.
PJs.
Imagine striped.
Really? Okay. What's another way that I can show that he never truly looks at himself because of his own arrogance and stubbornness? What about the thing with Doyle? Doyle is like, there's not a murder, mate. Chill out. And does he listen? Nah.
Oh, my shoulder. I heard that. That sounded.
want to get the quote.
Alana,
Jeff, I'm so sorry.
I swear to God, I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna try sus this week. Every week I'm just
Do you tell your landlord everything? Policeman's ball. I found the trunk. It happened. You know, to me, Mrs. Thorwald's clothes. Clean, well packed. Not stylish, but presentable.
Did you take them off to the crime lab?
They sent them on their merry and legal way. Why, when a woman is taking a simple, short trip, does she take everything she owns? Let's let the female psychology department handle that one, huh?
I would say it looked as if she wasn't coming back.
That's what's known as a family problem. And if she wasn't coming back, why didn't he tell his landlord? I'll tell you why he didn't tell his landlord. Because he was... Why, when a woman is careful filing that reconnaissance line during the war, you would have a chance to take the pictures that won you a medal and a good job and fame and money. What do you say we all sit down and have a nice, friendly drink or two, Forget all about this. We can tell lies about the good old days during the war.
You mean you're through with the case?
There's no case to be through with, Miss Freeland.
That's what I want. There is no case to be through with. He refuses to let go of his suspicions. Can I find a quote of that? Oh, wrong one. That is a blouse.
Thank you. I rest. I thought a blouse is like a jumper.
No, it's like a top.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, I better get home and get some sleep. Yes. Not much of a snifter.
We could use the bit how he just like turns his back on him. Yeah.
What do you have to say now? What? Go, tell me what?
Alright. Ladies, gents. Thank you. Alright, are we happy with that? Yeah? There's our essay. Wasn't that hard?
Are those the paragraphs or like...
They're each of my paragraphs, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, why does it take me so long to do that though? Because it's like herding cats in this room some days. And there's also, I think, a punch-on going on next door. But, yeah, it's very noisy. So, that would be a fabulous essay to write. And if you are struggling of coming up with ideas of an essay to write and you need a little bit of help, you could definitely write this. This would be an excellent response. You're welcome.